Are you creating your own genealogy brick wall? We do that sometimes, but I've got some tips to help you overcome that. Hi, I'm Lisa Lisson with Are You My Cousin, and I'm here to take the overwhelm out of your genealogy research. Now, before we start talking about these tips, I want you to hit that subscribe button down below, and that way you won't miss any new videos that I post here twice a week on the Are You My Cousin YouTube channel. So just how are we creating our own genealogy brick walls? Well, I can tell you one way, and one very common mistake is we as genealogists do not always read the whole document. Now, I get it. When it's a deed, when it's a will, when it's those estate papers, particularly when they're, on the shorter side, absolutely, we are reading every single word. Right? You are reading every single word, right? Okay, just making sure. So, when you have a 2-page deed, that's not a big deal, right? But what happens when you end up with the court record for your ancestor and it's 80 pages long? Absolutely, guys. I found that in my own family. It was wonderful. I found these wonderful court records because they were a contentious lot. And one court case was 80 pages long, but it also broke a brick wall. But here's the catch. The piece of information that broke the brick wall for me and named the critical piece that named the relationship in the family that I needed was about 60 pages into that document. Yes, it took me more than one evening to read that document. You can imagine. A court document handwritten from the early 1800s, let's say 1830s, it took a long time to read that. But it was sitting down and reading that and really committing to that, I broke that brick wall. And it was critical for that. And that's actually a short thing. I actually have about 300 pages of court records I need to read for this family eventually. It does take time, I get it. And I get it that it's tedious, but if you break it down into short spurts, it will help you make your way through it. But the important piece is I needed to read every single page of that document. And it wasn't till well into the document, into the court records, that I found the piece that needed. So everything is important. Make sure, my number one tip for you is to make sure you are reading every single page, every single word in your ancestors' documents, whether it's one page, one paragraph, or whether it's 80 pages or 150 pages. We have to read in that detail in order to truly understand their lives and to truly mine those documents for everything they could be giving us, instead of waiting at the brick wall and waiting for the next piece of information to come to us. We have to go after it into those documents. Now, I can give you a tip as well, that when you're reading these court documents, when you have that contentious lot and you're reading those documents, yes, it's tedious. Yes, it takes a long time, but it's really pretty interesting. It's, in some cases, it's sort of like reality TV for your ancestors in the 1830s. And it's interesting. You can't make up some of that stuff that they do, guys. Truly. It's really, you can't make it up. So it's really quite interesting to read as well. So if you have those lengthy documents, you've been putting off reading it and you're just kind of skimming it, sit down and really commit to it and read every single page. Now here's another tip, and here's another way that we can actually create our own brick walls. When we have a document for our ancestor, again, doesn't matter if it's a paragraph, if it's a page, if it's 80 pages. We need to identify every single person that is mentioned in that document. And we have to understand what that relationship is to our ancestor, what that relationship is to that document. Why are they appearing in our ancestor's document? They're not just there because, they're there for a reason. They had some type of relationship. Now, they could just be a friend, and that is important for us to figure out. They could be a direct ancestor. Very important for us to figure out. They could be an in-law. They could be a work associate. Whatever. But we have to understand those types of relationships so that we can break down that brick wall, because those are vital clues. When you can get a clue that, oh, John Smith consistently is showing up in William White's records, maybe I need to know who John Smith is. Is this a good friend? Is this a brother-in-law? Is this a cousin? How could they be related? So it's important that as researchers, we don't create those brick walls. That is something we can control. We can certainly identify all of those people mentioned. We can do our due diligence on our research. We can get that research done, and we can understand any potential relationships that might be there and pick up those clues. Yes, you might end up researching people that have nothing to do with your family or nothing to do with your family tree. That's still okay. It is not wasted research. One, you know who they are not. Two, you have just honed your skills in your research, and that's not to be overlooked. And three, you know about somebody else in that community, and as you're learning about your ancestors' community, you're constantly learning new things. You can start to pick up other clues as well. So it's not a bad thing when you end up researching some of these folks out and they really are not part of your tree. They truly were maybe just a friend. But it's important because it gives you other types of information. So don't be discouraged by that. As you head off into your research today, I want you to commit to two things. I want you to commit to reading the entire document, every single word of the entire document for your ancestor. And I want you to identify all of the individuals in that document and start the process, create your research plans and start your process for determining who they are and how they relate to your ancestor. That is going to be more than one day. Trust me, guys. Typically that takes, that's a process, but start that process and get it going. Okay, head off into your research today. Love for you to hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you in our next Are You My Cousin video. Bye.